we always looked after the older people. And the job of the men was to provide and protect, and the woman's job was to nurture, reproduce the species, love and nurture it, the natural thing. And she was there to help the other women. It was a whole different world. And it seems like this world is so much easier, but I don't think it is. And I have been taught to read and write, comprehend and everything. So I used to teach the teachers and everybody else. There was always a place where all the women were together and all the men were together. They would teach the boys while the girls were learning, and the girls and their mothers would come. First, some of the mothers were very envious, but then they would eventually come around. Because if things got tough, bring the kids and come. We sleep on the floors, on the couches, on the steps, wherever. But we all worked together. Because that way we kept the women from being hurt and killed all the time. It's not easy. We're sort of going through that now. Everybody used to be so amazed that this part of the neighborhood stayed the same. Not the same, but that people weren't quite so bad. But then right after the wars and then things started changing and everybody went away and bought houses all over the place. But this particular block, this particular neighborhood from here and back, phenomenal. And it was interracial. Have a good evening. See them? They were youngsters on this block. And now they're the older people in the house with their family. See, these are all my children. Not my biological children, but they are all children. I don't know if you're old enough to remember Mr. World War I. And all that time, this country was a big deal because we had so many natural resources, so many different people, and everybody worked together. But everybody ran away from where they had to be commoners or servants or nothing, because you had monarchies and a whole different world. We didn't have all this stuff that everybody knows about now. I said in history, it just goes and it turns over and then it comes back and it turns over again. And then the churches came in and got organized again. Because all this wasn't here. It was a wilderness pretty much. Just great big rocks. And there were wild animals. I'm much older than anybody they would ever dream. And if I try to tell the truth about my age, they don't believe me. When you go through these periods where the age of the groups start changing, then you get the competition with the women and the men. You know, we needed the togetherness to survive a war like that. That atomic bomb was such a thing, you know. It was so destructive when it exploded. Right here, all around here. Everything was destroyed. And that's when all the young people started learning how to do these buildings again. And with the more people get, the less they seem to know how to behave. Because they keep competing for more and more and more instead of being happy. I don't know how much you've moved around this neighborhood, but there were some beautiful buildings around here. Then everybody wanted to get them, but they didn't want to take responsibility. Well, if you're going to live in a democratic republic, you got to work a little harder. And you have to accept a little more equality and all that kind of stuff. It's not because you can afford to hire me that you're a better human being than I am. It may be just specifically because you're not. But then most of the time, people would just get together and work on it and bring their different skills and build the buildings. And those who weren't sick, or the men would be one place and the women and the babies would be in the big buildings, and then they would share them. Usually for the families, the children, people would get together. But you know, to walk through the neighborhood, it's just the same as walking through almost any neighborhood. But when it's been your personal neighborhood for a couple of 100 years, you know about it. You know? Am I driving you crazy?